Hello everybody and welcome back to RainBro Crafts. My name is of course Colton, and today we will be making for you the second soap in our August 2026 collaboration collection. This soap is a collaboration with Melba's Vegan Bakery. They are, as the name suggests, a vegan bakery based at the Vancouver Farmers Market, and their kind of ethos is classic recipes meets plant-based ingredients, and a lot of the recipes that Heather, the owner of Melbas, uses are ones from her grandma's recipe collection, and then she veganizes them into delicious creations. So for this soap, we were inspired by a Ginger Peach Scone that she's made in the past. And so when selecting fragrance oils, at least, we use that as a starting point. The fragrance oil that we used actually is no longer made, but we had a stockpile of it. And that fragrance is Ginger Peach Spritz from Brambleberry. Like I said, it is discontinued, so unfortunately you cannot purchase it any longer. It has been out of stock, but we had some and we thought what a fantastic opportunity to use up that fragrance blend. That fragrance blend has some really delicious notes of obviously peach, but there's some tropical florals, there's some citrus, there is also some kind of like creamier notes of coconut and some pineapple, and it really is a delicious blend. We are going to be doing a 2-layered soap here, kind of inspired by the color palette of Melba's, which is a like brownish kind of coppery tone, and then a nice like golden orange top color. So this bottom layer is going to be the fragrance oil, and then that kind of like more like dark brown color to give that kind of warmth that we were looking for. This fragrance oil does not have a vanilla percentage to it, meaning that it will not discolor to a darker color than what we have in the soap here. Now, colorants, micas, when you add them to cold process soap at least, does go through kind of a color shift just because of the process. So what the color is right now is not 100% representative of what the color will be in the finished bar here. Like I said, this is going to be a layered design, so we will be doing half of the soap batter in one slab and half of it in the other slab, and the careful-eyed individual might see that that soap batter looks like it is ricing, and that is a correct assumption to be making here. This fragrance oil riced, and Zac wasn't 100% aware of it at the time until later on in the soaping process. Now, the secret way to potentially fix a ricing soap batter is kind of counterintuitive, and that is to blend it more. You want to kind of like push through that ricing, and hopefully it reincorporates into a liquidy soap batter. We didn't do that here, and so there was some excess oil that leaked out of the soap bar at the end of the soaping process, which isn't 100% ideal, but the soap still worked just fine. It just was a little unique. When I say ricing, it kind of is the texture of like, rice, but it's like more of a like slushy consistency, so it's little granules, and you can kind of see it on screen here that Zac is stirring up, that the soap batter looks almost textured, and that's because it is not 100% smooth like a traditional soap batter will look, like a melted ice cream or something along those lines. But we're going to continue with the soaping process. So we will be using a spoon, a bar spoon, to do some spoon swoops. This also kind of accelerated. Now, on the Brambleberry website, it does not mention ricing and it does not mention acceleration. In fact, it says specifically in the descriptor, does not accelerate trace in cold process soap, and I am gonna say that might not be a fully 100% truthful statement. Some of the comments on the fragrance oil do say that they have also had a similar ricing situation with this fragrance oil. Now, I'm not knocking Brambleberry at all because they do take a lot of feedback into consideration with their product line. So potentially a lot of other people were having this problem as well, and they decided to remove it from the offerings. The benefit of this soap fragrance is that it is super tasty, and it does fit the whole overall vibe of Melbas in general, and also the peach ginger scone that we were taking inspiration from. After Zac has that bottom layer down and spoon swooped, he did go in with some nice kind of like goldish mica to do a mica dusting, but which is going to be between that darker brown layer and the more like orangey sunset color that's going to be our top layer. And we're basically going to repeat everything just like we did down below, except instead of that kind of brownish color, we're going to do an orange color. And we are trying to match the Melbas logo, and I'll put up a picture here on the screen so you can see that. And I think we did a pretty okay job. The vibe of the stand at the farmer's market is these like earthy tones, but with pops of like this sunsetty, warm orange color, and I do think we hit that right on the nose. We'll pass that fragrance oil through the fine mesh strainer there, and we will blitz that up until it comes to a nice light trace. And knowing that it's gonna rice, Zac is being a little cautious. Now, like I said, we probably could have blended it a little further past that point of ricing to hopefully fix it. However, sometimes that just causes your soap batter to accelerate and get to a really thick trace, and then that's not any fun either, because then you can't do the designs that you were hoping for. So it's really just a kind of a risk that you're taking. We will pour that fragrant or that soap batter over our spatula there just to break the fall. And again, you can see that it is chunky. It's not really thickening. It is still really fluid, but it is like the consistency of like runny cottage cheese, which is pretty gross to think about. Cottage cheese is already pretty gross to think about, but extra runny cottage cheese even sounds more gross. So you can see that Zac's trying to stir it to see if that'll fix the problem. And it potentially will break up some of the larger chunks, but really it was, the key was to just continue blending and hopefully it would fix it. Needless to say, we will not be using this fragrance oil again, mainly because we don't have any more, or if we do, we don't have enough for a full batch of soap. But also, we make a lot of soap, and if fragrances don't behave nicely, for example, ricing or accelerating, we're not going to put up with them because there's so many other options out there. It's not worth the suffering. So my piece of advice, if you are thinking of picking up soap making, cold process soap making in particular, is read those reviews on fragrance oils and see what other people have experienced with it. There's always going to be like one or two people that say negative things about fragrance oils, but kind of get the like average of all the reviews, just like any other online shopping that you do, and see how it behaves. Most fragrance oil suppliers will have their testing notes on their fragrance oils. If they do not have testing notes how a fragrance behaves in cold process soap and in candles and in bath and body products, etc., you might not want to buy from them and check somewhere else, because a fragrance oil supplier should be testing their fragrance oils to make sure that they work in each product. Now, you can still do your own testing, and that also is advised, especially if you're going from like a 12 bar loaf to a 30 bar slab here. You want to start with a smaller amount first so you're not wasting so much soap, especially if it's a fragrance that you think you might want to use often. Now that Zac has all that soap batter in our slab molds there, he will go in with that really pretty like goldish rose colored mica and dust it over the top. And I kind of sound like a broken record here, but our overhead lights and the wet soap batter makes it a little difficult to see that there's actually mica on the top of this soap bar. And even this is not terribly obvious that that's in there as well after 24 hours of curing. But in person, you can see that really pretty sheen on the top of the soap. One thing I do like, and I did mention this, is that while this soap batter did not discolor, because there wasn't vanilla in the fragrance oil, the colors have mellowed out just a little bit. And that's really what we want, because this more earthy tone is more in line with what the brand colors are. My piece of advice when you are trying to match specific colors to, say, brand colors or something like that, is to do a test, a small batch, a single bar, if you're able to do that, because micas really do go through a process when you are making soap with them, especially when you're adding fragrance oils. While they might not discolor to like a brown color, they may discolor to a yellow, or kind of a sneak preview of a video coming in a few videos. They might turn like a brownish purple, and they will take your beautifully colored floral bar into something a little more sinister looking. I am referring to our Razzo's Tacos soap, which will be out in a couple videos, and you'll see what I mean there. I don't want to give away too much. But this is our Melba's Ginger Peach Scone soap. It is for sale right now, online and in person. Check out our website, rainbowcrafts.com, to place your order, or see our calendar of events, and you can come and see us in person on Thursdays at the Vancouver Farmers Market, and on Saturdays at both Vancouver and Beaverton Farmers Market, and Sunday at the Vancouver Farmers Market. I really do appreciate you sticking through and watching these videos. Like I mentioned earlier, our video posting schedule will hopefully get a little more regular starting maybe next week, I'm hoping, because obviously this did not end up coming out on a Tuesday like normal. It came out on a Wednesday, but hopefully next week we'll be back to more of the Tuesday, Thursday posting schedule. My question for you all down in the comment section down below is, what is your favorite baked good when you go out to like a coffee shop or a bakery or what have you? What's something that you always gravitate towards? Mine would probably be like probably a ginger peach scone, or something like with chocolate, like a chocolate chip cookie or something along those lines. Thanks for watching. If you do want to get soaps, candles, or bath bombs sent to your house each and every month, check out our website, rainbowcrafts.com, for more details on joining this lovely group of individuals on screen now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below your favorite bakery item to get, also subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon so you get notified when we release new videos. Thanks. Bye.